Now that we have the ability to create scenes and we have the ability to create a basic game, we are going to put the two together. This is where the fun is going to be. So to do that, I'm going to open my game project as well. And the way that I like to do that is choose Add Folder to Workspace, so I can add those files to this, and I will choose that project. And now we'll see it's added that game to it so that we have the game code, because we're going to need to work with this. We're also going to have to put copies of the assets into the folder as well so that we have access to those. But what I want to do with this is now we have that script, and to convince this script so that I can open a second script, I just make a change. So then it's like, okay, this one is changed. Now we can see here is the original, this is our scenes that we're working with. Here is the game. What I'm going to do is choose split right, and then I will close that version of it. And I can even just get rid of the space so it doesn't care or matter anymore. And with that, I now have access to both of my projects at the same time. So I can see here is the game with the platforms and everything, and here is my original scene project. And this is where now I want to start bringing these two pieces together into the same project. To bring the assets over, I'm going to go into the game project, and I will copy all the assets that aren't the star because we already have the star in the scene demo. And then I can simply choose copy. So right click copy, and then go into the assets folder here, right click and choose paste, and now it puts copies of those there. So now I have access to all of the assets since we will need those moving forward here. So a couple things that we will need to work on combining together. So right now we're going to work on doing the title scene and game scene, and then eventually we'll add in our win scene and our lose scene to go into it as well. So we have a number of things that we do need to start putting into this project. We already have physics added to it, so that's good. And what we can do is start making this one look like the other one. So we had debug set. Now I will add in gravity so that we have the gravity that we're working with. And oh, no, we don't have the comma there. That's right, they're just in reverse order, no big deal. The order doesn't really matter. We can just leave it. All right, so at this point, we have the core part of the game done. We have our game config object set and ready to go. Our title screen here, we're going to modify that one a little bit because we're not keeping track of score as part of it, because that doesn't matter in the title screen, so we'll ditch those. We will let the star continue to be our interactive button, so we will set that up and we will have it start. It's really important we use start to not switch when we go to the game scene, because if we use switch and then when we switch to a win screen or lose screen and switch back to the game screen, our game values, our live score, positions, etc. will not reset. So we want it to reset each time, so it's critical we use start as part of it. And then we can just choose, instead of click me on this text, I'm going to change it and say click the star to play. And I'm going to move that text over a little bit here. Instead of right at the center, we'll just maybe guess on positioning right there. And then the click text we don't need. We're ditching the shooting star. We don't need that there as well. So now we have the star button. Our game scene, we will leave the constructor there. Preload statement, just going to comment that out. That would just set the background color. The rest of the content on here for create is going to be replaced by information on the create over there. So what I want to do is save this, and then if we go into the index for that project and I right click, then I will see I have an option to open with server, and the page comes up and we can see it open up. So we do need to move the click start to play over a little bit. I might want to even put a title text on there and call, platform fun or something, and get the whole thing all set and ready to go. I'm going to pull up my JavaScript console here so I can make sure I don't have any error messages that are coming out that would show up in red. If I click the star, we see it goes into the game screen. So that part is working, so that's good. We have phase 1 done. So with the live server running, we're now ready to go back into our game. At this point, this is where we get to start taking everything that is contained inside our main game, and we're going to move it over. The nice part is a lot of it is just going to simply be copy paste. So now I have added in my beginning part there. So I have that happening in my preload. So I'm loading my assets so we can see we've loaded the same assets that we have there. Now, when it comes to all of these variables that we are working with, we're going to work with them a little bit different. We don't declare them with a let. At this point, we're going to declare or attach to them this keyword so that they belong only to this scene. Now, in Visual Studio Code, if I want to multi-select or use multiple cursors, I do it by holding down the Alt or Option key. That allows me to highlight all of these spots right here, and when I do that, I can then just simply type this dot, and that takes care of all of them quite nicely. So that's pretty slick that we can get all of that into what we are trying to do. So we have all of our variables that we'd set up are now inside our preload. A lot's going to happen inside create, so we're going to have to put a lot in create, and we will have to add in this a whole bunch. So what I'm going to do is highlight and copy pretty much the remainder of what's inside create, or all of what's in create. We'll paste, put that in, and that's good. Update, we'll be able to copy that, paste that in, and now we have 2 additional functions that we are putting into our class here, collect star and the hit bomb. So when we go and put those into our class, they will go after update. We put those in. But if we notice our other functions or methods, because when we have a class, we refer to a function as a method. When the function exists and belongs and is only used inside that class, it's a method of that class. That's the terminology we use. And we notice how function is underlined. Let's see. So it's unhappy. It's showing us, it's like, yeah, I don't think you want that there. So we'll just get rid of it, and the red goes away. That's a good sign. So probably don't need the double extra return there, but now we're in good shape. So now we see under hit bomb, when we hit the bomb, this is where we'll switch over to our losing scene. And then when we're collecting stars, once our score has reached a certain amount, that's going to signify we win, and that's where we will put in our statement to go to a win scene. But we don't have those scenes yet, so we're going to have to wait a little bit on that. So we've made some progress here, and I can save this. And now if I go back over here, we see, okay, we're good. So our title scene is still working. I'm going to move that over next time. Or I'm just going to move it over now before I keep forgetting to do that. So that text. Let's use that. Yeah, that's closer. Probably should move it up. Maybe put a title over here, but I'll let you worry about that now. Click, the star scales up. When I let go, it's going to start the game scene. And when I do that, I should see all kinds of red. And I'm seeing the red because it tells me, well, platforms is not defined. And you may be thinking, it's like, well, but I defined platforms. What's going on there? So this is where we need to take a look and see what's happening. So if we go into our scene here, yes, we defined platforms. But then when I tried to use it here, I didn't say what platform. So this would assume I'm referring to a global variable or a variable that was defined only in the scope of the create method curly braces. But neither one of those exists. We have a class variable that was instantiated inside of preload. And to access it, I type in this dot. Okay, now I do that. Now, before I hit save, I'm going to notice here, so it tells me reference error not defined line 77. So if I go here, this was line 77. Now we notice platforms is referenced again on line 78. So when I save this, so if we save that, now I go here and click, and now we're on line 78. Platforms is not defined. So what's going to happen as we go through this is we're going to have to take and add this dot. So I'm going to just copy that to a whole heck of a lot of the code. Whoop. Let's try again. So I am Alt or Option clicking to add this dot. Oh. All right, I think it's good. Now I can paste what I've done. That puts that in. So now we've put all of this dots in. Let's save it. Hit star. Oh, hey, look. Something happened. We got further. Now we're at line 105. Player is not defined. So let's go all the way down here and 105. And it's like, oh, there's player. Chances are it's asking for this dot. Well, we already know if I say platforms, I probably need to put this dot on it as well. Now, if I save it and try and run again, we'll realize cursors is being defined right there. So that means I need to put a cursors there. Stars is being defined right there. The children of the stars. And now I see I have some options here. Stars, platforms, player, stars. Let's put that in. Save that. Click the star. Okay, collect stars not defined. 119. So we bop over to line 119. You say, oh yeah, so I forgot to reference or put a this dot under collect star. Score text is probably going to need that, and it starts out at score 0, so that's okay when we work with the score itself. Now, once again, Alt, 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 paste. Okay, probably in good shape there. Okay, now let's see. Right here, Alt, 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 Alt. So it really is going to be a whole bunch of putting in the keyword this throughout. Now, I do have to point out under collect star, it's going to be a little bit different. Because the star, when it references star here, and the player, when it's referencing, is being passed into it. So if it says player or star anywhere in this code, I don't need to because it's being passed in. but score does, score text does, the score variable itself, the stars do as well. Now player, that's what we passed in. X, the bomb, nope. But bombs is our array of bombs, so we need that. Bomb, 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 nope. Because those are referencing this instance of what bomb did the collection. So when we're creating that bomb right here. Sorry, I was thinking this was hitting the bomb. This is actually when we first make the bomb, because we collected enough stars, or all the stars, so then we drop in a new bomb, and when we do that, we just make an instance of it and set its bounds, tell it to collide, etc. So now we have that bomb bouncing around on screen. So, and that bomb is now, by saying bombs created, it becomes a child of bomb, which is how we can access it later. Now we pass a bomb and player in here. So those players we don't have to do anything with, or shouldn't. Let's see if we got all of our thises in place. Okay, that's good. All right, and we have all the little boxes, pink boxes indicating the physics body of the player. Goes across now. So bombs dropped, we're collecting stars, scores going up, and the game ends there when we run into it. So we've made tremendous progress very quickly. With the core of it functioning, what I need to do is add a win and lose screen. So to do that, I'm going to make 2 more scenes, and this will be my win scene and my lose scene. They're not green yet because it's telling me it's like it does not know what those things are or what that class is, because we haven't defined it yet. We will use our title scene as a template for it. So I'm going to copy the title scene and go down to the end. I'm going to just put a comment here and game scene, just so we know. So now these two, this will be my win scene, and our title will be win. And this will be my lose scene. So now we have those set up. I am going to add some text on my, so we'll leave the button there. We'll just change it from to play to click the star to play again. And we'll just move that over, so that's in our lose scene. We'll do the same thing on click the star to play again. And move it over. Now what I want to do is I'm going to, I could have put this text at the bottom, but I wanted to, I like it up there because I'm thinking in terms of, I'm going to have text telling you what just happened. I'll have the button, and then I'll have the click to play gun text as well. Now this text will say, so this is our lose scene, and you were blown up. And let's go up here on the win screen. And this time it's going to say you earned a gold star. So we have a positive message, negative message, so that we know what is happening with that. I'm going to change my background color so that when I win here, we will go with very pale yellow, for it's a happy color for winning. So it'll be FF, FF, and CC. So then that's a very pale color. And then when we lose, then we're going to go with a stronger red color here. And so again, you can go figure out what color you want, load background graphics in or something, but I want the colors to be different so we can see what's going on. So now I have a win screen and I have a lose scene as part of it. So now when the player hits, what we want to do is use the same kind of message that we used in our original scene where we said this scene start game scene, but now instead of starting the game scene, we're going to start the win or lose screen. So it's this scene start, and then this will be lose scene. Well, got to spell scene correctly for it to work. Now we add to the score, we show the score, and then we can say if this dot score is greater than or equal to, I always like to hedge my bets, though in this game it's impossible to collect 2 stars at the same time, but let's say you have to get 200 as a score, and if you do, then this dot scene dot start win scene. Now we save that, jump over here, click the start of play, and it looks like that one on the very end was super bouncy. Okay, 120. And we got the rocket version of the bomb here. Good, I can win by going here. Hey, all right. So it looks like we got a little, changed the X and forgot to change the Y. So now the message is on top of it. Whoops. But see, we got, that's our win screen. We won. This time we're going to go through and verify we lost and then go back and change the value. So let's see if this works. Let's go get ourselves blowed up. Hey, okay, we blew up. So we've proven it works. We just need to go into the win and lose screens here. And for that top text, instead of putting that text there, let's put it at, say, 200 for that scene and 200 for that scene. So now they're at different Ys. I'm going to change our win condition so I don't have to go quite so far. And let's just put it at 10. So if I just get one star, we win the game. Hey, look at, we earned a gold star. Now, the text is ugly, the graphics are ugly, all of that needs to be cleaned up, but we can now see that, oh yeah, and now I can't lose because I can't get the bomb to come out when I have to do that. So at least though we've proven, so 200 wasn't particularly hard, so we probably need to choose a number that is much higher. So there's at least 1 or 2 bombs out there to win the game, to put some challenge in. That would be part of you figuring out how you want to make your gameplay function.